Welcome back, life travelers, to another video by Ricardos Travels.
All that I want is for you to be happy and give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see, 'cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
Okay, life travelers, here's the project I got today. I have a wireless digital thermometer set up. It's 3 sensors that I've gotten for the micro RV, and I would like to recommend them to you, but before I do, I want to test to make sure they're accurate and that they work. So the test that I've set up is put them inside the micro RV overnight with 3 other digital thermometers and 3 other standard, whatever you want to call it, analog temperature gauges. And of course I got reflectix all around. And before we open it up, I'm going to take a test of the ambient temperature outside in the shade to have a baseline. Take it on 2 different sensors to see if they're going to agree, so I know if that baseline tester is good or not. Then we'll go inside and test them right away to see what they are and see if they agree with our baseline testers, our 2 baseline testers, and as well as watch them as the temperature rises, because the micro RV right now with the reflectix on it is going to be about 5 to 10 degrees difference from the ambient temperature outside, because the sun's been up for a couple of hours. It's a little bit warmer outside, and with the reflectix on and as cold as it got last night in the lower 20s, we're going to be able to open the door and within minutes watch the temperature gauges rise, see if they will rise, how fast they rise, how fast they respond, and as well as which one agree on the temperature. So that's our plan today, to test that out to see if I can recommend that to you. So come along, let's get them tested out. Okay, so the ambient temperature outside, so this thermometer is reading 33. This one here is 33. So these 2 pretty much read the same, but of course this one on the right, this laser, as I move it around, it's going to read different. But as you can see, if it's pretty close to where the other one is, it's going to read within a degree or 2. So it's around freezing. Ambient temperature outside. So now we're going to, and right here you can see we got frost. There's frost on the windshield. It froze last night. It was down in the low 20s. So inside, let's see. We had reflectix on. So you can see, let me just walk around. I had reflectix on all the way around. Alright, so let's open it up. Now, so here we go. There's the test subjects. So right off the bat, this top one's reading right around 30. So you can see that. So that one's reading right around 30. 30-ish. That one's never been very accurate. So this one that was accurate outside. So we're saying 26. 26. Let's see. So I'm trying to get in the shaded items. So in the shade, we're about 26 in here. Okay. So this one says, you know, about yeah, you know, 27, 28, something like that. That one. This one says about 30. This digital one over here says 30.6, but it's sitting there in the sun. See, I got the sun coming in from the side here. Probably should block that. So you can see that one there. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that? I can't see on my camera. 30.4, I think it says. This one here, golly, the glare that's killing me. Oh, that's upside down. That's why I say, well, I can't read that. All right, so there we go. So you can see up here sensor 2. See right there, sensor 2. You got 2 on here. You see that 2 on there? So that's that one is the top reading. It says 30.9. The second one, the sensor 1, right here, the 35, that's actually inside my cooler. So that's been inside the cooler all night. And then the lower one is what I'm holding, the ambient temperature. So this one says 30.5, this one says 30.9. No, that's 30.7, this one. Right, 30.7. Daggum glare. Okay. So those are pretty close, within a degree or two of each other. That one says 30.2. So these seem to be reading higher than that one. These are 30.7, 30.9, 30.2. That says under 30, like 29 or 30. This one says 31. That one says, you know, 31, 32. What's this little cheap giveaway thing reading? Come on, let me see if I can read that. That's good. Can you see that? Hopefully it's focusing in. It's saying it's 50 degrees. And I just picked it up, so it's not my hand interfering with that. So that cheap thing Yeah. Golly, I can't even hardly read it, but it's saying 50 degrees. That's total junk. This thing's total junk. 50 degrees. It's totally wrong. Okay, so that's 34, 30.4. Let's see what the top one is. So that's saying it's 32. That one's 31.8, almost 32. So both of these are reading 32. That one's reading 30.4. This one's reading 32. So all these three say 32. Okay. That one says 30. This says 30. That one still says 50. This one says 32, 33, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the glare. Hopefully you can see it. Anyway. Alright, so it looks like these three agree. These three agree. This one agrees. This one says even higher. Okay, I'm watching them as it heats up in here a little bit. So this one is going to 34, 35. That's what this one is saying. This one's still up on, I don't know, 31, 32. This one here, 31, 32. And then this one up here is still on 30 to 31. This one, they're both saying about the same now. Remember, these are two different sensors. So 32.5 and 32.3, so they're agreeing at 32. So that one's almost 31. This one's 31, 32, 35. This is just, I don't think that one's right. And this one's 30, 31. So all of these are saying around 31 degrees. This one's saying 32.5. So these seem to read about a degree higher than that one, and that one. And in fact, that one's about a degree lower. So it's interesting. But let's see what this one's doing now. So that's 32. So this one says 32. That says 32.7, 32.5. That one's still saying, I don't know, 31, maybe 32. This one's at 31, maybe 32. It's hard to say when it's 1 degree difference. And then this one over here says 31. So those are generally the same. All right. So the ones I was questioning actually was these two, or the three, because I've got one inside the cooler. It's reading 35 because it's been closed all night. So the cooler never even let the cooler get down to the 20 degrees. Oh, that's good to show too. If you see over there on the top left, inside the car here, the minimum got down to 28.4. 28.4. And I just showed you the ambient temperature outside. Well, it was 21 when I first came out. And then that's 21 ambient in the shade. So the macro RV stayed what, 7.4 degrees warmer inside without heaters running or anything. I mean, when you're down in the low 20s, I don't know if that matters much anyway. It's questionable. Certainly the nighttime with no sun, yeah, things may freeze. It's hard to say. Well, I had some orange juice in here overnight, and it's still, I mean, there's no crystals on it. You know, you can look inside. If something frozen, you'll see crystals on the inside, and little chunks of crystals or ice on the top. And there's nothing in there. So it did not freeze. So even it got down to 21 outside, it only got down to 28 inside, 28.4 inside. Oh, let me see if I can go closer so you can see that. This angle. Can you see that? 28.4. Down the bottom it says minimum 28.4. And of course the top is the max. And of course we're at 30.9 right now. So of course that is the max. So that's not going to help us much. But that's the minimum overnight. It's 28.4. So that's interesting. So with the Reflectix on, we'll have to follow the test up without Reflectix. Although I know without Reflectix, it's just like within minutes, the inside of the car gets cold quick. So, looks like the Reflectix helped us. My thermometers, my digital thermometers aren't off like I thought they were. So, they're pretty close. So that tells us the test that I do inside the cooler, ambient temperature outside and temperature inside. When I start doing those tests, I'll have the proper readings. I'll still roll in these others because this one seems to be reading about the same as these three. And this one. I'm not sure what's going on with this one. See, this one is saying 30, heck, 36, 37. And it's not. It's just 30, 31 degrees. We're not even over freezing yet, and it's saying it's, 37 degrees. That's messed up. So that thing is bad. That's bad. I'm going to see if I can return it. I only had it less than 30 days, I think. We'll have to see. But that is bad. That is wrong. Either that or all these are wrong and this one's right. So I just tested it again. It's 33. This is still saying 30. So that's still staying 30. I'm going to tell you what. You guys know already, I've complained like crazy. Anything I do, if I film it, it's going to take at least 4 times as long. because nothing cooperates. Let's try this again. So what I'm trying to do is get in the shade because the sun's been shining over here. I'm trying to block the sun. So that says it's 33. This says it's 30, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 37, 38. I don't know about that. That one up there says 32. This one says it's about 32, 33. This one says 33 and 33. This one says 31.3. So this one consistently reads a degree lower, 2 degrees lower. This is not accurate. Well, it's hard to tell because the problem is they all have different reaction times. So as the air is warming up, and I'm letting warmer air from the outside in because this was inside the micro RV all night and the sun's been up for a couple hours here, so it's a little warmer outside. So they're all starting to warm up and change their temperature readings, but it seems some are reacting slower. So it's not necessarily that they're bad, it's just that they're reacting slower. So now our reading on here is 33.8, 33.6. This one says 32 up here. 32. And that one says 31.6. This one's saying, heck, 38. This one's just way higher than any of them, so I think that thing's just bad. Test again. 34. This is reading 34 now. Let's see what this one's doing. So that's, come on, glare, work with me. 33.6, basically 34, 33.6. So now both of those are reading the exact same 33.6. So that's 34. Got 35. So I think these are actually right, because we got 4 of them within 1 degree of each other. That one's 2 degrees lower, and this is just off the scale different. That's like 7 or 8 degrees off this thing. So I think all those will work. This one reacts very, very, very slow. And if I keep dropping it, it won't react at all. That reacts very slow. It always has. So I don't expect this thing to say. It's doing pretty good though. I'm surprised because it's 33 or 34, and this here it's saying 33. It's pretty close, isn't it? It's pretty close. So I think we've got that. So we've got 34 on here, 34. Last test, 34. And this one's saying, yeah, 33, 34. Pretty close. This one just reacts slow. This is going to be the slowest one to come up to the proper temperature. This one here. So, how about that? So I can recommend this wireless. So and you'll see in the description what this is. But that gives me 3 sensors, an ambient temperature where this is, this control panel, and 2 wireless sensors like that with clips on the back. So I've got one in the cooler, and I had one here that I was leaving inside the micro RV, and then I had another one outside, or reverse. I had this inside and this outside. So I was checking the ambient temperature outside, ambient temperature inside the micro RV, and then the temperature inside the cooler. So now, good. I can recommend that, and I can know my test will be accurate now. Except I just got that to help with this test, and that's at least 1 to 2 degrees, or rather a consistent 2 degrees lower than all these others. So that is not accurate. I guess in a way that might be a good thing. So if you're looking at, you know, whatever, covering something outside, putting a heating pad under your water, under your tanks, if that says it's 32 a degree or two before it actually is, maybe that's good. That gives you time to react before it actually starts freezing anything. I mean, that's a judgment call there. I don't like things not being accurate. That's why I'm doing this test. I want to know when I look at a reading that it's accurate. I can rely on it. And it looks like this one I can. So that's great. I thought I could not. So anyway. Okay guys, I decided to do one more test inside. So I'm in the homestead now. This is the one that was reading, 7 to 8 degrees higher than everything else. This is the one that was reading 2 degrees lower than everything else, down in the sub-freezing temperature. That's 32 Fahrenheit is what I'm talking about, or I guess 0 Celsius. But right now this one is what it's saying, 69.6. This one internally, which this is what I'm recommending, right? So it's 71.6. So again, it's consistent. That square one is 2 degrees lower than these, as well as 2 degrees lower than this one. So this agrees with this, 71.6, and that's 71-ish, 70, 71. And this top sensor right here, the wireless one, this top number is 70.7, so it's basically 71 as well. And of course, this is a good time to point out, if you'll see on the right, it's got the max and minimum for that sensor. So each line, you got sensor or alarm 2, it's the top row, and then sensor 1 is in the middle row, and then the indoor one, which is actually this device, this control unit, is also a sensor, is on the bottom. So on the right hand side, on the bottom one, it gives you 109 for the max and 22 for the low. But on these other two, the max and minimum is divided by a line. And you can reset those, and you can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit or back. You can set an alarm on it, so you can set a certain temperature. If it goes above or below that, it'll give you an alarm, audible alarm. But right now our test, because we were testing in the 30s, right? In the 20s up to 30, I think. 30, 31. So we were in the freezing temperatures testing outside. And we found out this one was off 7 or 8 degrees. Although it looks like in these higher temperatures it gets closer. So it's interesting. This was supposed to be a refrigerator for a refrigerator, you would think it would be more accurate getting lower. But this is still running 1 to 2 higher than everything else. Now it's interesting, this one here, that was spot on in that 30-degree range out in the micro RV, was right on with these two. But now it's just showing, what, 69, 68. And these are showing 72. And this is showing, you know, about 70. This one always, as it gets warmer, this is very, very slow. It takes a long time for it to register and start going, which, you know, whatever the temperature is, to react to it. It's very, very slow. So that's just delayed, is all that one is. So this is quite interesting. Now I do have to say my light source, I should have got another light source. This is actually the light source. Duh. This is the heating lamps off my oven hood vent. So putting my hand here, that's a little bit warm, so we're warming these things up, and you can see it's brighter over here, so it's warming this stuff up more than back over here. So that would affect us a little bit. As well as this one here is in the bright, and the end up there is a little bit off the bright. So that one should be a little bit lower, a half degree or degree lower over there. Which it is. It's 71.2, and this one right here is 72.6. So I guess we can verify that by moving this back over here right into the light. Moving this back, well, I want to be able to see that. Moving that back over there and see if it swaps on us. Of course, I'm holding that too, and that's going to affect it. My temperature off my hands, I got to let it sit for a minute. So I'll monitor these and bring you back in on it, but I want to make sure, you know, different temperature range. We're up in the 70s here in the house, and we're down in the freezing temperatures outside. So I want to make sure it works in both ranges and it's accurate in both ranges. So I'll keep monitoring it, and I guess bring you back in. I'm expecting those two to swap. See, that 71 is this, but it was up here out of the direct light of the heat lamp here, and we sort of swapped these. So give it a minute or two, and those should be actually numbers swapping, because this one's being out of the direct light again. So this should be the lower number, which should be the bottom number, and then the top number, which is this, should be a higher, you know, a half degree or a degree, something like that. So that's what we're trying to see if it will do. We're confirming our suspicions there. I mean, they're still within. Yeah, I'm messing with it again. The heat from my hand, I'm messing with it. So I got to just let it set. I'm going to watch it and then roll the camera again once I let it set for a while. Okay, guys. So I decided to do a more accurate test rather than leaving the lamps on. So I turned the lamps off, let everything cool down. Now everything reads the same. 70.1, 70.1, 70. 70. Of course, this one's off It's interesting, because in the colds this was 2 degrees below. Now here in the high temperatures it's 2 degrees higher. So either this is the only gauge that's correct and everything else is wrong, or all these, this one that I'm recommending, that fridge one, this outside one, and here's a thermometer, a different thermometer, decided to bring in. So that's 69. Let me see. So anyway, yeah. So that's 70, 70, 70. This other meter, 70, 70.7. That's just a meat thermometer. I'm just doing ambient temperature with that. So, and that one says 68.9. So that one's consistently 2 degrees low. That one just does not work. It's either high or low, and all these others agree. So there you have it. I've tested it in sub-freezing and normal 70-degree weather, or temperatures rather. So there you have it. If you're looking for a wireless digital temperature system, one to put outside your RV, in your RV, and then maybe down wherever your storage is, or your battery compartment, whatever. This is it right here. So it works high and low consistently, and I've had this one for, oh, I want to say 3 months. So I even had it in, heck, I've had it longer than that, guys. I had it in June and July. So I was in the hundreds, and it was working, but I was questioning because it was so hot that this outside one was a little bit different than when it was like 100 and something. I mean, they were still within a degree or so within each other, and this one it's hard to tell. Actually, was it 71, 72, was it 100, 101, 102, whatever the reading is. So I couldn't really tell. So I was using these two, but now I know this works. And let's roll this other one in here. So that one's 70, 70.7. That's 70.8. So this agrees with that, which agrees with that, which agrees with that, which agrees with that. So these are good. That's a piece of junk. There are those piece of junk. This one's, I mean, if you want to remember, it's always 2 degrees off. I guess it's okay for the price. It's pretty cheap. I forget what it was. I don't know, $10, $15, something like that. So it will give you the minimum and maximum, and give you the temperature outside, so you can mount this, you know, on the outside of your window or RV. So you can see the outside temperatures if that's what you wanted to do. But I like this one the best. This is the one. I'm glad I purchased this. Like I was saying, in the 100-degree or so temperatures, I was wondering. But now I've confirmed it both ways. It's working and it's accurate. With the current temperature, the high and the low, it's actually working. And that one that's flashed in the middle, remember, was the cooler. So I got a sensor inside my cooler. There's no ice in it. It's just sitting out there. So that's why that cooler is so great. That's why I can stay out there 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 weeks. Of course, I won't have ice at 4 weeks. It'll just be, you know, cold water, super cold water. But for most things, that's fine to keep it cool, keep it from spoiling. But anyway, that's why it works so well. So it's sitting out there in the car, and it's 34 degrees. So there you have it. So I hope y'all take advantage of that. Get one of these if you don't already have a temperature gauge, whether it's for your homestead, your home, your office, your car, RV, whatever. This one works. All right. So that's good news, isn't it? So it looks like I can recommend that to you. It worked spot on. It was one of the fastest responding. It seems like the remotes are within a half a degree or so between the base unit, the control panel. But as time goes on, as you're watching it, it gets pretty close, within a half degree of each other. So they're accurate, they work. Unlike that freezer model one that was, I don't know, what was that, 7 or 8 degrees off? Oh, that's not good. So I got to see if I can return that one. And then the square one that was up in the top left, that was an outdoor one that you mount on the outside of your vehicle, window, whatever, so you can see the outside temperature. But that was consistently 2 degrees off. So I'm not sure that I can rely on that one. I've got to think about that. I might just make a mental note of it and know that one's always 2 degrees off. But I really don't like doing that, as I mentioned before. I want my equipment, my sensors, my temperature gauges, whatever, to work and be accurate. So I don't have to say, oh, well, this one's 2 degrees lower, this one's a little bit higher, this one's whatever. I don't want to do that. I want to look at the gauge, read it, and know that's about as accurate as I can get it for that price range. Of course, you can pay $100 for one and get it right on, or you can pay, $10 or $15, $20 and get one that's within a half degree. So that's close enough for me. Within a half degree or so, that's fine. So thanks for coming along and testing them with me. I can definitely recommend that one now. So check in the description below for the link to get that for you. So you can have one inside, have one inside your cooler, and have another one outside. So it's 3 different wireless temperature gauge, thermometer. You get the idea. You get 3 of them. So, and with that panel, you can see the high and low and current temperature of all 3 on that control panel. So yeah, go and get one if you haven't got one. Even for a house, you can have one inside, one in one part of the house that you think gets colder than the others, and then another one outside as well, just right outside the window from where the controller is, and you'll know the outside temperature as well. So that's going to do it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for coming along, and thank you for your support and likes and comments and subscribing and sharing. Thank you so much. And as always, until next time, may everybody have safe and happy travels wherever life leads you.
Is for you to be happy and give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open